They say you should never tell this tale too loudly, not when the fire's burning low and the sea wind can hear you. But it's a good night for old stories, and this one has been told at campfires long before any of us were born. Once, so the elders claim, there was a land called Amphelia. Not an island, not a kingdom, but a whole continent wide enough to swallow maps. It vanished eons ago, slipped out of the world so completely that even its absence feels deliberate. Why it disappeared, no one knows. Some say the sea took it. Others say it was never real at all, just a child's fancy. A fantasy grown too large and too stubborn to die. What Amphelia truly was has been worn away by time. Its story survives only in ancient parchments, so brittle and faded that most who find them can barely make sense of the markings. Even those texts are rare, hidden in ruins or forgotten vaults, and often dismissed as forgeries or mad scribblings. Rarer still are the artifacts. Every few generations, something strange washes ashore somewhere in the world. A thing that does not match any known craft or metal. Sailors whisper that these objects drifted in from Amphelia, carried across impossible distances by currents that should not exist. From those scraps of writing and those nameless relics, a picture is half remembered. They speak of forests where the trees were hollow and tall, singing as the wind passed through them, whistling like flutes in endless shifting melodies. They tell of a village that walked, houses raised on legs, slowly migrating across the land, as if the ground itself were untrustworthy. There are mentions of a royal land drowned in red flowers, petals thick enough to hide the soil beneath, and an island crowded with monuments dedicated to the old ones, whoever they were, and whatever debts were owed to them. Some parchments speak of beings rather than places. An old race called the cricket kin, small and chittering, whose role in the world is now entirely forgotten. A giant so vast that blood seeped from its wounds, and where it touched the earth, new life was born. A rare purple metal, heavier than it should be, said to have come from a god that pierced the earth itself, leaving divine matter embedded in stone. There are darker lines too, warnings about a staring god whose gaze could twist gravity and time, bending the world until directions lost meaning. And, in gentler passages, there is mention of a majestic pale raven, wings wide as winter clouds, whose arrival brought snow. Where Amphelia once stood, if it ever stood at all, there is now nothing but water, a vast, empty stretch of ocean, writhing with violent currents and sudden storms. Sailors call it the malevolent ocean. Compasses fail there. Waves rise without wind. No one sails into that place without reason. And even with reason, it is considered a fool's choice. Ships that vanish there rarely leave wreckage behind, as if the sea itself refuses to return what it takes. So when the fire burns low and the night grows quiet, some will tell you Amphelia is gone forever, ground down into myth and salt. Others will lean closer to the flames and whisper that lost things are not always destroyed. Sometimes they are only hidden, waiting beyond the edge of maps, beneath angry waters, listening for the day someone remembers their name again.